My name is BottleNed. Oh yes, I said my name is BottleNed. I didn't say my name was BottleNed, nor is it BottleNed. Yes, it's BottleNed.
BottleNed here, it's deep mud. I'm on another bot quest for the bottle. Hand-blown 19th century glass bottles. I'm today underneath the 1871 railroad trestle by San Quentin Prison in California. And San Quentin Prison dates back to the 1850s. And this trestle's over 140 years old, so the idea is like people threw bottles off of the train, and maybe workers were doing some work on the pilings, and they threw some bottles down into the mud. And I'm about to go down into the mud, and it's really sloppy and gross, and there's actually lots of like runoff from the cars. There's a major freeway here now, and for about 60 years since this freeway was built, there's been all this runoff from, you know, all the car pollution, basically mostly oil, and I don't know, man, I'm not a mechanic, but anyway, it's really gross and it smells weird. Alright, so the idea is the bottles have, since they've been thrown into the mud, they've been buried and washed out and buried again, and I'm just gonna assume they're buried because most good things are. And what I do is I take this here probe, it's a spring steel rod, and it has like a tip on the end so you can penetrate the soil with less abrasion, and I'm just gonna stick it in the mud and see if I can hit a bottle. It's really scientific. That's a rock. That's clams. See, you gotta learn to get a feeling for what objects feel like with the probe when you hit them under the soil or the mud. And so I've done it for so long I can tell if it's a clam or a rock or a glass vessel. Rock. Clams. By the way, if anyone asks what we're doing here, I'm going to tell them I'm looking for clams, because it just makes more sense to people. And you don't want to get the cops or freaking whoever called on you for being a weirdo in the mud. So the idea behind probing is when you encounter an object underground, you slide your probe or twist it in a circular motion, and if it's a gritty kind of sound with the probe and feeling, it's probably a rock. But if it's very, very smooth, it's probably a vitreous vessel, probably a bottle, or a porcelain mug, or, you know, I don't know, an insulator. Come on, baby. Oh, I need that rush. After a while, you can really get a good rhythm to your probing. Oh. Rhythm. See, it's ideal to probe as much as you can, as wide an area as you can, as fast as you can, so you can cover more ground and find more bot. Alright, I think I got a hit here. It's either going to be a bottle or a clam, and I can't tell. I'm not perfect. Even BottleNed has his flaws. So I'm just going to dig it out the old-fashioned way, because you probably don't want to get caught out in the estuary with a shovel, because then it'll attract even more attention. Everyone will think you're burying a dead body or something, you know, whatever. Okay. So I can feel like, it feels like I'm glancing alongside of the neck of a bottle, but it could be like a clam or another inferior object. It's kind of like noodling. Oh shit. Oh shit, dude. It's a bottle. Oh shit, I feel it. I feel it. Damn it. It's, okay, so it's just a, looks to be some kind of jar. It doesn't have a ground lip, so it's past 1900. It's probably machine made. It doesn't have any embossing either. Boy, it had me going because I felt the base. The shape of the base felt very old, but then the screw top is indicative of something a lot newer. I mean, they had screw top jars in the 1800s, but not of this style. Bummer, dude. Back to whence you came. Water's getting my boot. Ooh, tide's coming in. Whoa! Oh shit, I'm stuck. Sometimes, also another thing in the mud is that you get certain areas that are sink spots. So there's like areas where there's a hard pan in the mud too, and it's kind of like quicksand you see in certain areas, and you'll keep sinking. I got water in my boots. That always sucks. What the hell? Well, I was going to retrieve a hit and I think I stepped on something else. God damn it. Another stupid jar. Okay, anyway. I got a hit, had another one. We're gonna see what it is. Oh, it's broken. That almost cut me. See, that brings up something else about this mud. You really don't want to get cut in it because there's bacteria, there's untreated sewage that flows from the storm drains, there's petrochemicals, I don't even know, but there's a lot of weird crap. And so no matter where you are in the mud, it's not a good idea to get cut in it. If you're reaching in to try to pull out something you feel is glass, this can happen. It can be a broken bottle, and that's kind of dangerous. So, gotta watch out. So, another good trick I learned is if you see a dock piling from the 19th century, like this one, you should probe around the base of it, because say in 1875, during high tide, if someone drops a bottle right in this area, it could float and then encounter this dock piling and bob up against it, and causing it to fill with water and sink right in that spot, right at the edge of the piling. All right, now I'm gonna try to explain what a bottle feels like here in the mud. So I got another one, and I want you to listen really closely to the really specific, high-pitched, squeaky smooth noise. Oh, it's beautiful. Very smooth sound. Sounds of smooth jazz. Relaxing, comforting. Promises of glory. Oh, fuck. Okay, well, I was wrong. Like I said before, BottleNed isn't perfect. This was actually a, pick it up, but I hope I didn't get cut on this, because this is a lead battery from the 1920s, World War I era. It has a really high lead and other whatever toxic substance content to it. I guess it can sound like a bottle with the probe, but these batteries were used mainly for the Model T Fords and the old crank telephones and radios and things like that at the turn of the century, like 1905 to the 20s. And yeah, you don't want to find these, you don't want to touch them, and you especially don't want to breathe them. So fortunately it's saturated with water. Oh, wait, there's a bottle below it. Holy shit. Oh, there's a bottle below it. I was right. See? Validation. It's from the same period, unfortunately. I cut myself too on that. It's good to let the cuts bleed, you know, so anything that's inside there can bleed out. Yeah, this is a whiskey flask, probably from Canada, from the Prohibition period, 1920s, the same age as the battery. So somebody threw a battery and this flask into the mud. This was a flask that it was medicinal whiskey manufactured during the Prohibition, because they weren't allowed to make a lot of any recreational whiskey. They were allowed to sell and make a little bit of medicinal whiskey for antiseptic purposes and other stuff. Well, I've managed to cut myself a little bit, but it's not that big, but all it takes is a small wound for things to get infected, get inside there. So I'm probably gonna go back to my car and put some polysporin on it. It's like a disinfectant. And the tide's coming in, so we're just gonna call it a day here, but we'll be back soon for another bottle adventure.